Good afternoon. My name is Sherry Sidoti, for those who don't know me. Thanks for joining me today. It is a beautiful, stunning first day of the year. Happy 2017. And today I will just chat a little bit about the Niyamas in the yoga philosophy and taking them into practice in very simple ways. In our family, we have a little tradition where when we have dinner parties or on holidays, everybody writes out a question and folds it on a piece of paper and puts it on someone else's mat, and we go around the table and we answer the questions, right? And there are often really fun ones. Some of them are just silly and fun, like a would you rather, would you rather have a horse's face or a horse's ass or something like that. But sometimes the questions get very deep and very profound. And this past Thanksgiving, a friend wrote the question of, if you can come up with one invention that you think would be a cure for the biggest ailment on the planet, what would it be? And some of the answers were incredible, and more importantly, I've rested since Thanksgiving, since that night. I've been resting in that question quite a bit. Like, if I had the capacity to come up with the solution or the cure for the greatest disease on this planet, what would it be? And what keeps coming to heart for me is this notion that pretty much all of the disease, in my opinion, that is prevalent in our modern society starts from the disease that we have within ourselves of self-sabotage, self-hatred, self-detriment, right? Self-mutilation. Like this idea that we really have, have not quite gained the capacity to truly generate the type of and the consistency and the practices of self-love. And the problem is that when we hate ourselves so much, of course, we're going to turn around and hate others. When we are hard on ourselves, we're going to do the same to everybody else around us. So, in my opinion, the cure to the planet's disease would simply be to have something concrete that we can do on a daily basis that would help us cure the ailment of not being satisfied, not being happy with ourselves. And fortunately we do. It's called the yoga science. And so what I would love to offer for us for this New Year's is some practical ways that we can apply the niyamas, or the do's of the yoga practice, some of the do's of the yoga practice that really have to do with the way that we participate with our own self and our own lives, and thus that will then affect how we are in the outer world. Is, how can we make our inside relationship with ourselves sacred and loving and fulfilling, so that we can be grounded in our center and not have to put anyone else beneath nor above us. Big stuff. I mean, in the self-help and the spiritual community, this concept of self-love is, overused, in my opinion. And there's so much like, oh, just love ourselves. And I feel like if we could, we would. And, maybe just some of us need some more practices, some techniques to encourage us to do so. So I'm here to offer a few of those. My great friend, my sister of the heart, her name is Kim Rome. She coined the term and actually made a bumper sticker out of it that says, "The real revolution will be love." And it's a very profound consideration, right? It's extremely profound if we really want to go deep down into it. But for the sake of keeping this conversation timely, I just wanted to add in parentheses there, Kim, if I may, the real revolution will be self-love. And like any other revolution, right, in history and in time and on the planet, a revolution is not just some random idea that then comes into fruition. There's so much consideration and devotion to that revolution in order to make it substantial, right? So like any other revolution, there first and foremost has to be a real potent and clear vision of where that, the fruition, what will be the result of taking all of that sacrifice or all of that time and dedication and devotion towards that vision. So vision is really important. And then, of course, strategy to execute that vision. So we need to collect our team, so to speak, or we need to have our comrades at battle, right? Those who are going to be by our side and who are going to get us the help carry us there. Together, one another, we can do that. And like also another revolution, you need strategy. You need to understand what the enemy is and what's coming at us, where our resistance lies, so that we can stand stronger in our mission and in our vision to confront and hopefully overthrow the resistance that's out there, right? We also need weaponry. We need to know what tools, what we need to collect in order to be able to go into this big revolution. So there's a shit ton, excuse my language, but there's a lot of not only thought, not only gathering, not only strategizing, but sacrifice that needs to be made in order to deeply devote ourselves to a revolution. So I'd like to just say that May 2017, for all of us, be in the spirit of the revolution of self-love as an action towards planetary healing. May we heal ourselves. May we learn to care for and adore ourselves with enthusiasm so that we can care for and adore everybody around us with that same enthusiasm, right? And together we come together as comrades in battle and we heal, right? That's what we really need. So to apply really 5 simple practices or encouragements in the yoga philosophy, the Niyamas, in ways that are very specific that can be done on a daily basis. With that said, I just want to say that with the Niyamas, like any other philosophy, any other concept or exercise or idea, there are thousands, probably millions of interpretations or ways that we can interpret the Niyamas, as well as thousands, maybe millions of ways that we can practice them, right? So today I'm just going to offer a few simple ones. The first Niyama is Sauka, and the translation is cleanliness or purity. You can also say wholeness or holiness, right? Caring for, or organization, order, right? Really putting care into the way that we maintain this concept of purity or cleanliness. So a very simple way that we can apply that on a day-to-day is with our laundry, for example. I can very easily wash, dry, and fold my clothes with the television playing, or annoyed that I have to do the task, and really just do it mindlessly and let it happen. And then I just have a pile of clothes in my closet. It's not a bad thing, it'll keep me warm, but not necessarily encouraging the self-love concept. However, if I choose to wash and dry and fold my clothing with breath and maybe some great music playing, I'm creating the environment or the space for it to be kind of more of a sacred act, something that I'm enjoying doing. And as I'm folding the clothing, I'm looking at it, I'm touching the material, maybe bringing it to my skin. I am appreciating and honoring the clothing, like, oh, I love that blue shirt. It's so warm and soft on my skin. And I'm throwing into the clothing, however corny this sounds, I'm putting into the process of folding my own laundry I'm infusing it with love. And that way, the next time, right, I'm blessed enough to put on that shirt, for example, oh, that same blue shirt, I am wearing love, the love that I've infused into that shirt. And so for that morning, even if it's just for an instant, as I place the shirt on my body, I'm surrounding myself with loving myself. And that's a really simple way. We can do the same with like our body oil or our lotion when we get out of the shower. The way that we smell it and feel it on our skin, and the way that we massage the skin, the oil on the skin. This is all ways that we practice self-love specifically with that niyama of cleanliness and purity. So there's one for you. Santosha is another niyama, and the translation is contentment. And we all know the benefits of practicing gratitude. I don't even need to go into that. However, I think it's very important to practice contentment with the things that we're usually most hard on ourselves with. So instead of just making a morning gratitude list, I'm grateful for this, I'm grateful for that, is if we really turn it onto ourselves and at least every day at least come up with one reason why we absolutely love ourselves, or one thing we love about ourselves. I make the best cup of coffee. And the fact that I am a morning person and actually take the time to put and pour love into my coffee. When I sit down in the morning, preferably outdoors in the light of day, and I'm sipping that coffee, I'm ingesting the quality of care and love and appreciation, contentment for my own skill of making coffee. Right? It sounds really silly, but if there's something about your physical appearance that you're constantly beating yourself up about, I would recommend practicing contentment on that characteristic. Find a reason why that characteristic that you normally see as inefficient is incredibly powerful, beautiful, strong, etc. And just practice the contentment, the appreciation of that, having that quality in yourself, right? It's amazing. The third niyama is tapas, and the translation is to burn with zeal. And the idea is that we really actually need to, sometimes we need to break a sweat, right? We need to put the pedal to the metal and do something that might be difficult for us, but in the process, we know that it's a good idea for ourselves. That's tapas. Tapas is a discipline or a commitment to something that is part of a transmutation process, or it's part of taking something and turning it into something else. So how can we practice tapas within the idea or the revolution of self-love? And one thing that I would really suggest is in the way that we breathe, right? That to take on a discipline, a breath work every day, even if it's just, I'm going to take 3 conscious breaths in the morning when I wake up, and I'm going to take 3 conscious breaths in the evening when I go to bed. Breathing will do it for us. It'll encourage that notion of self-love. It will bring love into our body. Our lungs as an organ hold our capacity to experience and feel and offer to others joy, right? And so if we fill our lungs, we're filling our physical body, our energetic body, our emotional, mental body with joy. And that's an incredible thing, and that is a way to practice loving ourselves. So that would be tapas. Svadhyaya is the 4th niyama, and the translation would be self-study, self-observing, self-knowing, right? And again, so many different ways that we can practice it, but if we're really talking about this revolution and taking on this niyama as a strategy towards self-love, let's think of, a really useful technique that we can do. One of the things that I found most profound in my journey is to go back to a younger version of myself. And really see myself at a certain age, and even let myself drop into that space, remember what it feels like to be me then, what my environment was, who was around me, what were my feelings, thoughts, etc. And then exit that place and come back to who we are now and become the big sister or the big brother to that younger version of ourselves. Because our life experiences and the wisdom that we've gained, our understanding of ourselves has expanded so much since then, and we can offer that younger person, that younger version of ourselves that still lives in us, right? That still kind of, pouts, that younger version of ourselves that's still stubborn and wants to stay. We can offer her or him some loving and incredible, powerful compassion and advice, right? We can be the big sister to the younger us. So that might be a way to practice self-study in the spirit or in the revolution of self-love. The last one, Ishvara Pranidhana, is my favorite, and it is, the translation will be surrender, faith, trust, devotion, right? So if we're practicing devotion in the spirit of the march ahead, right, really kind of in getting to the vision of self-love, then we have to find ways to take the dialogue of self-hatred and turn it around. And in the process of doing that, we surrender. There's a surrendering that happens. So mantra works really beautifully with that. The word mantra actually means that which protects the mind. So we're reciting mantras all day long. It's usually, you know, I'm not this enough, I'm too much that, why did I say this, why did I do that, la 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 la, the spin of self-hatred. If we can replace those thoughts with anything, could just be one word, the word love, or even better yet, I am love, or I love me. Or if that's too corny for you, find another mantra that works. There's the Heart Sutra mantra, right, that I've been chanting and internally and in my morning practice, and it really is a devoted practice that I have to help to untie the knots that are present, the guard, the protection that's present that I feel in my chest, my own knots around my heart. And when I chant the Heart Sutra mantra, it actually helps to untie those knots. And in the process, I can sit with this surrender or this feeling of love, of letting the protective layers fall off me. And what all of these practices do is teach us that we can access love from within at any time that we want, right? We can do it at any moment. We don't need anything from the outside world to get us there. We're not trying to find a pleasure point from something from the outside. It all comes from our inner space. So we can change our chemistry, so to speak, so that over time we really do become warriors of our own self-love revolution. And in the process or in the journey, we really learn to have a deeper respect for ourselves and thus anyone else we come into contact with. And in my deepest heart of hearts, I believe that if we can truly, not just conceptually, but really embody caring for, respecting, and loving ourselves, then we can get rid of this prevalent epidemic or this disease of self-hatred and create a more healing and peaceful planet. So let's do that for 2017, please. I'm going to do my very best to devote parts of my day, every single day, to this revolution. The real revolution will be love. Thank you so much. Namaste.